Welcome. So, in this session, we will be talking about some important questions and answers which you might be asked in any interview. It's like now you are all set with the concepts required to apply for a job as a Flutter developer. And in that scenario, you might be asked some technical question or something related to whatever we have learned so far. So let's discuss few of the questions. Obviously, the interviewer can ask anything. It's very rare thing that we can pinpoint that exact question, but at least we can see and understand how much we have to work on our knowledge. So let's get started. So the first question will is the following code is used to add a floating action button to a Flutter app interface. Which of the following function or method can be used to add an action to this button if the user taps on it? So here you can see there is this floating action button code, and we know this floating action button is a part of scaffold, and this is a widget which we can use anywhere. Now, just remember floating action button has two required properties. First is child. Now, the second one is a function. And there are four options. There is go to, on press, jump now, and fly to. So like this, there are options. But you can just think and answer on your own. Let's see what is the solution. Answer is B, that is on pressed. So obviously we have built so many applications we have learned so far. This is a very basic question, but just remember that this is required. If you don't write on pressed, it will show error in your Flutter app. This was an easy question. Let's go to question number 2. If you create a Flutter app using the Firebase services where the app user had to log in to his app using Firebase user accounts, that is email and password, which of the Firebase products store this app users accounts? First option is database, second is authentication, third is storage, and fourth is hosting. So in simple words, when we sign in with email and password, where the first thing the data is being stored. So if you remember, it is being stored in the authentication section. We use Firestore database in order to further store it on our own, but automatically it gets stored in the authentication. Answer is B, authentication, as we discussed. Just remember, through the authentication section, you can go and get the last login information and user ID, the date he created the account, all these details, and which authentication method he created the account. That is email, password, there can be Google sign in, there can be Facebook sign in. Lot of options are there. So let's go and see the third question. The container is a Flutter widget that allows users to customize, compose, decorate, and position its child widget. Just say whether it's true or false. So we have used container a lot of times. And if you can see, while we are creating any button or while we are giving some kind of background color or some kind of position, that is margin padding, for all these things, we have used container widget. So that is why this answer should be true. When you are in a stressful situation, such as an interview, at that time you might not get this so easy question also, because at that time you are overwhelmed by that situation, and definitely you have to just keep your calm. Now let's check out the next question. Check the image of the app interface in this question. Which type of Flutter widget is used in designing this app interface? So see, there is this kind of header or some kind of text, and there is this arrow button. If we click on it, it expands the section. That is we can see some more information using that is this text body 4. If we expand this header 3, there might be body 3 like this. So which of these 4? Switch widget, Cupertino alert dialog widget, expansion panel widget, and bottom sheet widget. So first you try to answer on your own, and now let's see the answer. See, answer is C, that is expansion panel widget. So this widget is used to create this particular type of UI. It obviously depends upon your usage, whether that application demand this widget in it. Let's go to our next question. That is question number 5. After you create a Flutter app, you need to configure an app icon for your app. The question is, if you configure an app icon to your Android code of your Flutter app, the icon of your iOS code for the same app will be added automatically. So, I hope you have understood that they have asked that if we configure Android icon, will the iOS icon will be configured automatically? And also remember, Android icons are being configured through pubspec.yaml. You have to mention your file and all, and there are dependencies for it as well. But for this question, you can try on your own. But now let's see the answer. Answer is false. That is, you have to separately assign or write the code for your iOS icon as well. Till now, I guess your basics are clear. Now let's go to question number 6. Select the correct choice below to complete the following sentence. Snack bar widget is used if you want to let your app pop up a message, then it's a gap, that is a fill in the blanks at the bottom of your app interface. That is, just imagine we have used snack bar while giving feedbacks and all. So that pop up a message for a few seconds, forever, until the app user taps the close button of this message, or until the app user taps the OK button of the message. So this question is also very easy because snack bar is shown for a few seconds only. And obviously we can define the seconds or the duration using that properties, but default it is I think just for 2 seconds I guess, but only for a few seconds. So the correct answer will be A, that is for a few seconds. Let's check out the next question. A stateful widget is a dynamic widget which can change the appearance of its content in response to events triggered by users' interaction or when it receives data. So there are two types of widget as we know, stateless widget and a stateful widget. So here it's saying that stateful widget is a dynamic widget which can change or rebuild itself in response to events triggered by users, whether a user has clicked something or he has choose some options or that data has received data from the firebase or any kind of database. So whether it's true or false, because it's an obvious thing that by the name only we can say that stateful widget tends to rebuild its states, that is rebuild its whole widget. So the answer will be true. Now we are going to the next question, which will be question number 8. How many child widgets can be added to a container widget? So this is a very interesting question, that how many child widgets we can add to a container. Unlimited children widgets, only one child widgets, two children widgets, three children widgets. So we have used the children property as well as a child property in different widgets. But when it comes to a container widget, in that scenario, if you remember closely, then we use only the child widget. That is, the answer will be option number B. So it can be a little trick. You might sometimes think, we can nest so many widgets inside container, but it can be done through column. But before that, the column has to be inside a child parameter. So that ultimately container has only one child. Let's go to our question number 9. Which of the following property should you use to add a label, icon, and an inline hint text to the text field widget? So when we are creating any login or register screen, or when we have a scenario when we have take or input data from a user, we use text field widget. So there obviously there are a lot of options like label, text, background color, and border and all, lot of things. So for that, what is the property? Options are list view, and the second one is the input decoration, size box, shrink wrap true. So this question is also very easy for us because we are now an expert in Flutter development. Now let's see what is the answer. The answer will be option B, because we have the property decoration. We give input decoration as its value. Let's go and check out question number 10. You can add or import a new font to your Flutter by pasting this font file in a font folder in your Flutter project without needing to declare this file or the folder inside the pubspec.yaml file. So what the question is, suppose we want to add some font or some custom font to our Flutter application. In that scenario, we have downloaded the file from the internet and paste it in our Flutter project directory. But should we have to mention the same detail in our pubspec.yaml file? That is, this is a font file. So is this correct? That is, can we do it without declaring in the pubspec.yaml file? The answer and the straight answer will be no. That is false. Because when we are dealing with fonts, there's an option in pubspec.yaml file to mention your custom fonts. And above that, there are assets options as well, where we will mention the assets such as images and all. So these things we have to declare in the pubspec.yaml file. Now let's move to the next question. This widget is used to wrap a column, row, container, or other widgets. This widget adds a filling size around the child widget. Which of the following term is this definition for? So if you want to give some spacing between the, suppose, the elements or the row, container, or any other widget, then which of these will be the correct answer? So let's say image, snack bar, padding, and alert dialog. So we already know that the answer will be, let's check, C, padding. So padding is a widget which will help you to give the required spacing within the element. So obviously when you have a container and in the center you have some text. So with this padding inside it, you can give some spacing between the text and the edges of the container. Let's move on to the 12th question. In this question, check the 4 images, then answer the following question. Let's see. Okay, we have this shopping cart, and only the position of it is different in all the 4 images. Which image is the run output of the following dot code? This is the code. See, we have a material app, then scaffold, then safe area. Within it, we have our container. And now see, first thing is the icon. We have the size of 50, colors dot green. So all are green, all are size 50. So obviously among them, you have to choose the correct image. It is image 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the correct answer for this code. That is output of this piece of code. So I hope you have, if you want, you can pause the video, but I hope you have guessed the right answer, which is A. See this one, because within this container, we have not written, suppose this image 2 will be center image, or this will be aligned at the at right, and this one will have some kind of padding above it. So see, only image 1 is the correct answer, because when we write icon and container directly, it will start from this position, that is from the left hand side. Okay, let's again go to the next question, which is the question number 13. This widget helps you to have a specific width and height between widgets. Which of the following term is this definition for? App bar, sized box, safe area, on change. So obviously one of these widget we use most of the time to give some height and width between the widgets, mostly when we are using some kind of column or some kind of row. Within that we use this widget column. So the here, let's see what is the correct answer. Here the correct answer will be B, sized box. So this sized box widget is used most of the time and we have used in our applications as well. Let's go to the question number 14. When you build a Flutter app, you can use an Android or an iPhone emulator to test our app UI and its workflow. But you cannot test this app on a real device or iPhone device before publishing your app on Apple or Google Play Store. So in simple words, when we are testing our app, we can obviously do it in the emulators, either of the emulators. But in this question, it has asked that we cannot test this app on a real device until and unless we publish our app on the Play Store or the App Store. So is this true or false? Let's check. The answer is false, obviously, because if we want, we can test the code and it's not necessary that we have to do it at the very end. So let's see. Now in this question number 15, it's written, in Flutter development you can add 3 rows inside a column and add an image within each row. So it, whether it is possible or not, just imagine we have a column and inside it whether we can write 3 rows, and within that 3 rows can we insert one image in each row. So the answer would be true. Yes, if we want, we can do such thing. Let's move on to the next question. There is question number 16. Desk, that is fill in the blanks, command checks your environment and displays a report of the status of your Flutter and Android Studio other than IDE software installation. Which of the following choices is the correct answer to fill in the blank above? So there is a command which will check our environment and see if everything is correctly installed in your system or not before you run your or create your Flutter project. So the options are Flutter Doctor, Flutter Connection, Flutter Screen, Flutter IDE XML. So I will let you guess which is the correct answer. Let's see. A, Flutter Doctor is the correct answer. So this is a command line tool. If you write it in right now also, that is only Flutter Doctor, it will show that Flutter is properly installed, Android Studio is installed, Xcode is installed, all those data. Let's again move forward. Question number 17 is, a floating action button in Flutter development is by default a circular icon button, and you should add the icon widget as a child widget of the floating action button. Which of the following choices is correct to add a phone icon to the floating action button? In simple words, we have a floating action button and we want the child to be a phone icon. What will be the correct code for that icon? First one, that is A. Is B, icon icons dot style phone. C, icon icons dot phone. And D, icon is equal to phone dot flutter. So let's check what is the correct answer. It is C, that is icon icons dot phone. So this is how we output any image in our Flutter application. Icon is a widget and within it there we use icons dot the and the icon name, whether it's user, security, message, and here we are using phone. Now question number 18 is, the image in this question is a part of Flutter app interface which includes 4 text fields. When the app, when the user types anything in the password text field, all the characters in the text field are replaced with stars to hide the user's password. To do this, you should add a specific property to the password text field. Which of the following choices is the property, and what property value should one add to the password text field widget to get this type of secure input. So you can see here the options are obscure text is equal to true, secure text is equal to yes, password is equal to stars, password is equal to hide. So this is one of the property of the text field widget. Now choose the correct answer and let's see what is the correct answer. It is A. Obscure text is true. So in the authentication section of our project, we have done it. That is, we have built a login and register system. We have used this obscure text is equal to true. So A is the correct answer. Let's see question number 19. Which of the following choices is the best answer for adding an image from your computer hard disk to a Flutter project? Option A. You cannot add an image from your computer hard disk to a Flutter project. You can only configure your code to use an image from a web link. Number B. Add a new folder to our Flutter file direct structure. Copy the image from your hard disk. Paste this image in the image folder, then configure your Dart file in this Flutter project to use this image file name. Then option C will be add a new folder to your Flutter file structure. Copy the image from your hard disk. Paste this image in the image folder. Configure your Dart file in this Flutter project to use this image file name. Configure your project pubspec.yaml file to use this image folder. Then click packages get at the top of the pubspec YAML file. And the last option is click file menu in any Flutter IDE, select insert, select image, browse to select the image, click save 3 times, and then you restart your IDE. So in simple words, what is the correct way add an image to our Flutter project through the asset, that is through the hard disk? So the correct answer will be obviously option C. So first we have to create a folder, preferably name images. Inside it paste the image. Then you can directly go to pubspec.yaml file and mention that directory of your image in the asset section. Let's go to question number 20. Firebase offers two cloud-based client accessible database solution. Which of the following choices is a Firebase database type? So we have already worked with Firebase and we know there are two types of database in it. So here the options are SQL and MySQL, real-time database and Cloud Firestore, Cloud Firestore and MySQL, and real-time database and SQL. So already we have worked with Firestore database, and below that there was another option in the Firebase console. That is, let's see the answer. It is B. It is real-time database in Cloud Firestore. So these are the two types of database offered by Firebase. Let's see 21 question number. Assume that you have a Flutter app and the code of main.dart file is as follows. Here you can see we have a material app, then scaffold. In the scaffold, we have app bar, and then in the body, we have row, which has 4 icon as its children, and a main axis alignment as main axis alignment without space between. Here we have 4 outputs, that is 4 options. In these 4 options, you have to choose the correct output from these 4 options. So obviously, everything is focused on this main axis alignment. So what will be the correct thing? That is main axis alignment or space between, whether it's be image 1, image 2, image 3, or image 4. Just remember there are a lot of main axis alignment dot center, main axis alignment dot space evenly, main axis alignment dot start and end. So like this, there are a lot of options, but you have to choose the correct one. Let's see the correct answer. B. Since it's space between, only the spacing will be between the widgets, not at the surrounding. If it was spaced evenly, it would have been image 1. Now let's check out question number 22. The image in this question includes a Dart code for a raise button widget. When the app user taps this button, the app will display the content of screen 2 class of this app using navigator.push navigation technique. See, the text is written directly go to screen 2. We have the on press. Here the code is navigation.push. Then first parameter is we have to guess Second will be material page route. So to this, you should replace this empty thing in the navigator.push class with anchor, context, title, or part. So we have used this navigation a lot of time. I believe you know the correct answer. Let's see, which is B, context. So definitely the code is navigator.push, then context, then it can be material page route. It can be, if it is navigator.push named, then it will be named, that is the string of that page. But the context is constant. That is, it will be in every navigator code. Let's see question number 23. The image in this question includes a Flutter app interface. Which Flutter widget has been added to this app title bar to add this navigation button? So here you can see this. There is this button here, which is the widget. That is, we have to choose from these four options, which is this widget. Whether it is tab widget, whether it's drawer widget, whether it's sub menu widget or shortcut widget. So just think of your own, which widget outputs this image. Let's check out the answer. It is B, drawer image. So obviously this is a one type of navigation. Through this we can navigate to different pages. So drawer widget is the answer. Let's move forward. Question number 24 is, as illustrated in the image in this question, to get the text value welcome in this app interface, you may configure the text widget as a child widget of the container. So here, check this code. We have a container. Inside it, we have this child, some font size given to it. But we have the margin and it's written vertical and horizontal. So what will be here? Widget in this cross, that is this empty field. Which of the following is the best answer? vh.margin, margin.vh, that is vertical, horizontal, align.center, edge insets.symmetric. So this is fairly easy question, I will say, but I hope you have practiced Flutter a lot of time, because there are padding widget. In that also we use the same value. That is, in the margin and in the padding, we use the same value. So the correct answer is D, that is edge insets dot symmetric. This is the correct answer. There are others as well. There is edge insets dot only from top, left, and then I think bottom and right, like this. But here, since it is given vertical and horizontal, the answer will be symmetric. Now, this question is not a multiple choice question. It is just for your understanding. The question is, what are the similarities and differences between future and stream? So we know that futures and stream are asynchronous methods. We use this a lot of time when we are getting any data from the server. But what is the difference between them? Let's check out the answer. The similarity is future and stream both work asynchronously. That is, the code doesn't have to wait for its execution. It can move forward and then come back and get the result from it. And second similarity is both have potential value. That is, there is a chance that you will get a value, but it will take some time, either 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever, but you will have a value. It might be null, but at least you have a value. And differences are, a stream may be a combination of futures. And second difference is, future has just one response, but stream could have any number of responses. In simple words, if we use future, we go to the database, we take the result and we come back. If any change happens in that data, we have to send the request again, but the UI won't be notified automatically. But in case of a stream, there is an open connection. That is, if anything changes in the database or in that server, it will be directly reflected to the UI or wherever it is being listening. So this is a very big difference, and definitely that is a lot of scenarios where you might need stream, or you might also, you can do the job with future only. Then Let's check out the next question. How to access screen size in Flutter? So definitely when we are building any Flutter application, we want that the app will look good in all the devices, whether it's small, big, or even desktop applications. The code base will be same, but we want the screen size to be adjustable, adaptable, you can say. It is adaptive. For that, what how we can access this? The answer is we can access screen size and other properties like pixel density, aspect ratio, etc. with the help of media query. So the example code is media query.offcontext.size.width. So with this, we can get the width of that particular device on which the application is running. We can also have dot height. Then there are other options as well, but this is how we access a screen size, and you have to remember this piece of code. Let's go to the next question. Why do we need mixings? So this is fairly something new concept. So you may or you may not know the answer, but let's check out. Dart doesn't support multiple inheritance. That is, when a class want to extend the methods and property of another class, he can do it, but he cannot extend more than one class. For that purpose, to implement multiple inheritance in Flutter, we need mixins. Mixins provide a way to write reusable class code in multiple class hierarchies. In simple words, suppose there are two classes and one class need the properties and methods on both the class. In that situation, you will, let's suppose, class 1 extends class 2, and then with you can write with is a mixin, or with that you can write with class 3. Like this, you can have multiple classes together. That is inheritance. So this is the concept of mixins. Then the next question is Flutter a language? It is a very basic question, but if you say this answer wrong, then your job interview is finished that time only, because the recruiter will understand that you are not in depth. That is, you don't know the concepts properly. You have just learned it, the Flutter thing, and just started building it. But you must know that is Flutter a language? Let's see the answer. No. Flutter is an SDK built on language Dart. So languages like C, C++, PHP, Dart, these are languages. But framework or SDKs like Code Igniter, Django, Flutter, these are called frameworks. These are built upon a language. So you have to get this concept clear in your head. Now, the next question is, what is tree shaking in Flutter? So this is also fairly a new concept. This is not used directly in the app building. It's like it is mostly used when we are at the production stage. So let's see. Tree shaking is an optimization technique to remove the unused module in the bundle during the build process. It is a code elimination technique used to optimize our application. In simple words, while building our application, we have a lot of unused imports or a lot of codes which are not necessary. This technique will help to reduce the bundle size. When you are about to upload in the Play Store or in the production stage, this technique will be very useful. Now, our final question is difference between set state and provider. So I hope you know that both of them are a method of state management. You can manage your state by either by set state or by provider. But what is the difference between them? Answer is set state is used to manage local state in the same stateful widget and its child. Set state is used within that screen only. Downside is everything is written within the same class, such as the UI code, mixing UI, business logics. This breaks clean code principles. This is not a good practice because you can use it when you have something particular to that screen, and it's like suppose a push of a button, dark mode, or something like very small thing, checkbox. For this, you can use set state, but not managing the whole server data. On the other hand, in provider pattern, we declare everything in separate class. Means UI presentation is defined in different class. Business logic is defined in different class. Therefore, code looks clean and high quality. Also, we don't have to pass the state from one screen to another via constructor. So when we are using set state, the data definitely you have to pass through the constructor and the other widget will accept it. Definitely. So this is not recommended all the time. Most of the time people use either provider or block. These are different types of state management techniques, mostly recommended by Google itself, because if you go to their official documentation, there you will see the name of provider and block pattern. So these were some of the important questions, interview questions. Definitely, when you are going for interviews, they will ask you more advanced question. They will give you some kind of task to do. They will give you small task like build something and show us your skill. But at least you should know some theories as well. That is, if they ask like what are the different types of buttons in it, in that case you should know that there are elevated button, there are text button, there are icon button. You should know these things as well. So I hope we have covered everything and now you are all set for your next job interview. Best of luck.